Hey guys, welcome back to the next part of our series. Today we're going to continue with the run and jump cycle, or well, that's not a cycle, it's just an animation, which is this one right here. This is where we left off. This is the final part of our element, and now it's time that we start looking at the general flow and fluidity of things, okay? So what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to go all the way to the beginning. I'm going to grab this curve right here. I'm going to go into animation, visualize, create editable motion trail. And this motion trail is gonna be great because remember one of the first rules that we talked about when we were talking about animation, and that is of course arcs. We want everything to be a nice clean arc. So right here I can start to see, I can start to see how things are like looking in a not such a nice way, right? Like the curve here, the movement of the element here looks very wonky, and that's what's giving us this sort of like slow look to the whole thing. So for instance here, frame 9 and frame 11, you can see that he's not moving that much, and that's making it a little bit difficult to see the fluidity of the movement. Now we don't want to move the foot because we know that the foot is nicely planted, like we don't slide when we walk, but we can definitely start pushing the character a little bit forward, or for instance here a little bit backwards, okay, to clean up a little bit of this curve, and that's gonna make it look a little bit nicer. So for instance here, frame 11, we can just like clean this curve up in a very nice controlled way. So same thing here, for instance, let's just move like forward a little bit. Let's go to frame 4, let's push it. So we're pretty much smoothing the curve by smoothing the poses. Same thing here, frame 17, let's go a little bit backwards. Frame 18, let's go a little bit forward. It's going to allow us to create this very nice smooth transition all along the surface. So here frame 25 is the culprit, so I'm just going to push here. Let's go frame 23. This is also going to break the animation, so it's not going to look like a cycle anymore because we're going to have a little bit more like elements here. Now, see the distance that we have here? It's a little bit too much. Like the distance from frame 29, it's a little bit too much here to frame 30. I can already see that we have a problem here in frame 30 with the knee, so let's just move this forward. So what I want to do probably is frame 29, all of the movement from frame 29, let's just move the character back a little bit, just a little bit, like here. That of course means that this jump right here is going to be slightly back, like here, and then this guy right here is going to be like about there. Like there. And then we got this. Now frame 24, we can definitely move him like up a little bit like this. Same deal with frame 31. Let's give him a little bit more verticality. That way it looks like he's getting winning or gaining some height first, and then he falls. Now same thing here, like frame 37, not so nice. So let's grab all of the movement. Let's go like a little bit higher, and then frame 30. Frame 30 is fine, I think. But like the fact that he goes all the way over here makes me a little bit like hesitant. So I'm just gonna do this. Maybe even do that like this. And then of course this frame, which is where he lands, needs to be further forward. There we go. So now let's take a look at the animation. Way nicer, right? Like especially here at first, it looks very nice. I think here on frame 2022, the distance is also a little bit too big. You can see it there. So, and the reason why it looks is we have this very nice uniform effect, and then from frame 20 to 22, he just like jumps in a very strong way. I don't want to just like change the timing or anything, so I'm just gonna grab everything here. And again, let's go to frame 20. And one thing we can do is just start moving him slightly forward. Let's go frame 22. It's just like make him jump a little bit more and move the frame a little bit back so that the jump here is not as intense. Let's take a look now. I still see the big jump there. And you can see it like on the distance here of the jump. Like see the distance between frame 15 and 17. And then see the distance between frame 22 and 23. It's a little bit too much, right? So another thing we can do is go back to frame 23. Let's shorten the distance here. Now that of course means that frame 25 is gonna be, or should be, like back here. Frame 27 as well. And I mean, it kind of makes sense to have a little bit more space here on frame 29 because it's the frame previous to the jump. So we could actually make it so that in this frame right here, he prepares a little bit for the last like sprint that he's gonna do. Because this is the last sprint before he that's like the last step that he has before he jumps, right? So it's like a preparation of the preparation, which is it's gonna look good, I think. So we're gonna go here. There we go. I think frame 29 we can exaggerate. There we go. There we go. So now that last frame there, or that last jump, there we go. See how smooth everything looks now? Now the only thing I don't like is the timing. We have a very nice positions, like all of the key poses and all of the positions are looking very nice for this exercise, but we're missing a little bit of the timing, right? So again, anytime you have a question about a timing, you need to ask yourself, do I want this pose or this transition from one pose to another to be what's the word, fast or slow, right? And if I were to ask myself that question, for instance, from here or from here to the jump, I would say a little bit slower. So I'm just gonna grab everything here and let's try giving it 2 frames. It's gonna go 1, 2, 3, and then he's gonna jump. Now I want him to either hold the pose or go even lower. So I'm gonna go here, and instead of holding the pose, I'm gonna push him down. So it's like the final preparation. I might even use a little bit of a foot roll or the toe roll here to like plant myself on the ground with just like the tippy toes, like a final preparation. And we're gonna have preparation or stride, landing. Let's push this guy. So stride, land, 1 frame, 2 frames of preparation, and then boom, we jump, we fly. And let's see how that looks. Okay, it does look like he's stopping, and I don't necessarily want him to stop, but it definitely looks a little bit better, right? Because it gives me a little bit of a chance to understand what's going on. Another thing I can do is on the jump itself, like on this thing right here, if I were to grab all of these controllers here, we got this and this. Let's give it a little bit more time. So I'm just gonna, again, let's just grab everything. I think it's gonna be easier. And let's just give it 1 more frame here. You can see that also helps with the transition of the curve. Now we definitely need to change this thing here. So we go from here to here. There we go. So we land, and then boom, we jump. Now on the apex of the jump, which is right about there, I probably would like to do like the Michael Jordan thing where he just like really brings his leg out like this. Now remember, this is the stretch, so here we should get back this sort of like intense effect. At this point, which is frame 38, this thing would be stable again, so 0. And we get this nice jump. Now here, I think we're going a little bit too far. You can see it again in the curve. So let's grab all the movements here. Just let's land like really close to the ground here. So again, this is gonna be more like around here. So around there. So we land, and then we land, and then we recover right about there. So pretty much this foot right here, we can go to the point where he lands, which is right here, And we can grab this crystal, and we can just snap this foot like this. So now that foot is not moving, see? So it shouldn't be moving. The reason why it's moving here is because of this guy. So that means that this guy needs to be like fixed right over there. So we land, and then we land with the other foot, sorry. And then I don't want to slide back, so I'll rather, again, where this feet lands, which I think that's a little bit too far out. So let's land him here. I'm just going to snap this guy with S. Now I make sure that when he lands right there, that's where he's going to stay. Like, he's not going to change anymore. He's just like, okay, that was a good jump. Now we can go like here. And again, if we take a look at the animation, this is what we're going to see. Nice. So see how that little extra time there really gives it a lot of force. I think the time on the jump is fine. It's a little bit fast, So one thing we could do is, again, grab all of these guys right here. Let's go to frame 38, which is the real guy right here. And I'm just going to give it one more frame here. And then one more frame. Oh, one more frame here. That should slow it down just a tad bit. There we go. Now I feel like the launching is a little bit slow. So again, let's grab all of the curves here. Let's see where we have the launching. We have 1, 2. So we have this extra frame. I'm just going to delete that frame. Grab all of these guys and just move them back to fill that gap. And now we're going to have 1, 2. This one. I think that was one of the important frames. That's fine. We just fix this. There we go. So 1, 2, 3. Very important that this guy has as many frames as we need there. I usually like to, as you know, add a keyframe on everything when we have an important keyframe. And then we have the jump. And we get, boom, nice. Now, see how also the landing looks very nice because the feet are not landing on the at the same time. Like, we land first with one feet, which, by the way, I think we could still have this guy like, oh, that's fine. We can do something like this. So we land with 1 foot, and then this guy should be almost landing here. And then we land with the other feet. Now, I do think that the feet should land a little bit sooner, so this is gonna mess up a little bit of the timeline, but that's fine. We're starting with a little bit of the polishing, where we're gonna start adding a little bit of follow through. So remember what we did with the foot on the walk cycle? I want to do the same thing here. Like, here's this guy. I want to immediately land. So I'm just going to grab this guy right here. Just move 1 frame before that. It's going to be 14, 15. He already lands. Let's play a little bit with this guy right here. So he lands, then lands with the whole body. And then before he recovers like this, let's first like change this a little bit more time here. He's gonna land, but I don't want him to recover linearly. I want him to go like around like this. So he's gonna land and then go back and then up. See that? Let's take a look at this thing now. There we go. There we go. That looks good. I think here, again, it's all about polishing. Let's keep this straight. And we also need to keep this straight. Like this. Let's go here. Like on this one, I'm gonna bring it forward so that when we land in this sort of like arch again. You can even go here. Another thing we could do is like here, we could do the toe roll on the other side. And then blap. When he lands, we could have a little bit of toe roll still left. And then after that, he just lands with the rest of the toe roll. Like just one frame after that. Again, just a little bit of polishing there. Same deal here, right? Like when he lands on this feet, we can add a little bit of toe roll. And then he lands. And then the frame after that, the toes land. So again, it's similar to what we've seen with the pendulum and stuff, where things just don't happen at the same time all the time, right? Now, the animation here at the end is, of course, very fast. Like, he recovers very fast, like a rubber band, pretty much, right? We don't want that. So again, when he falls like this, I would expect to have a little bit more time. So let's add more time here before he completely recovers. So let's just grab all the curves and see what's going on here. So this, I'm going to grab all of these guys, just give them more time. And then this rising up, I'm just going to, let's delete that guy. I also want to add more time. Let's see how that looks. Okay, now it looks like he's hitting a wall, right? Like he's like really just like getting stuck to like glue or something. And we also don't want that. So I know that when he lands like this, it's probably just timing. Let's just bring this back a little bit. There we go. Now, usually when we do this sort of jumps, like I'm not sure if you guys jumped this far before, but you kind of like remain on the same position a little bit. So I'm just going to go here and let's go to frame like 52. And let's just like keep him like really low. So he's gonna like land. It's gonna stay there, and then he's gonna recover. Let's see how that looks in timing. There we go. That's a lot nicer, right? A lot more natural. Perfect. Great. So yeah, there we go, guys. I'm just gonna add one more thing. I don't wanna run into an extra video. I think this pretty much covers the basics of how to transition from something that was a cycle originally, how we transform the cycle into an actual animation, and then how we can transition that animation into any other animation that we can think of, which in this case is this very nice jump, right? So I'm gonna just for fun. There's another way to say it. Some of you might know it, but I can't say it. We're PG-13, so need to keep it clean. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna extrude, keep faces together off, and do an offset to create this sort of like dangerous like side thing here. There we go. Actually, I'm gonna say because I want to show you some cool things about this. It's gonna be a short video, but I'm gonna leave it for one more video about this little exercise. So I'm gonna stop it right here, guys. Hang on tight, and I'll see you back on the next one. Bye bye.